Yeah. Best practices have to do with mindset and the words as well, which is this is a turning point. The hybrid workplace is not going to go back, and it's actually going to accelerate. And the people who are resisting it are only going to lose all the momentum, are going to lose the learning, and they're going to basically going to left behind. People are being very intentional, and leaders who are succeeding in this new environment are the ones who realize that they don't have the answer. No one has. These are uncharted waters. So rather than try to be in control, the leaders that realize, hey, I need to facilitate the conversations. I need to involve my team. I need to experiment. We need to test and try and iterate. Those are the ones who are doing great. There's a company called GoTo, which are the creators of the GoTo communication software, lots of communication platforms, GoToMeetings, etc. And they realize that, and the CEO at some point say, hey, after 1 year in the pandemic, we're doing great. What if we become a remote first company? People have the choice. We are going to still have offices. And one of the things they did is they create different personas, different groups to understand the needs, because people that are younger probably want to be closer to the office, to build relationships, to learn by observing. They don't have a nice space for them to work at home. People with family members that need to take care of with kids and prefer working from home or more flexibility. So they design different experiences based on those personas. But also when it comes to creating a sense of belonging, that glue that we talked about earlier, they realize that you cannot impose that connection. No? You mentioned that for task-driven people, you cannot force them to. So they started doing activities based on passion points. For example, a lot of people, you mentioned Jesus, like to volunteer, like to help others. So they started organizing people going to food banks in different cities. And we met, we work in the same company. Maybe we never worked together, but we actually collaborate in those projects to help others. And that's how they build culture. So that's what a very different approach. Rather than think of a one-size-fits-all across company, they started thinking per region, per city, based on people's passion points and proximity.
So, well, that's great. And then you also have your company, which is called Fearless Culture. I love the name, by the way. So Fearless Culture, talk about fear. Where is fear in culture, and how does that play?
I mean, first of all, fearless doesn't mean the absence of fear, but it's about facing our fears. That's important. So when the opposite to fearless is fearful. And many companies, unfortunately, are driven by fear. The fear of screwing up, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of being blamed for your own errors, lots of red tape, lots of rules in place, lot of hierarchy and politics and power play. So fearless is about we want to be more innovative. Every company needs to innovate. Every company needs to move faster. They need to be more adaptive. The world has been changing since it started, and it's going to get worse or better for me. So we need to deal with our fears. We need to deal with the fears of not knowing, not having all the answers, to experimenting in new uncharted waters. In the SEAL, for example, Navy SEALs, when people are trained, one of the key skills that they have to develop is to deal with their own fears. They say that if you're not connected to your fears, you're dead. Fear is like a signal. So when you're going into the jungle or you're going to cross the street, the fear of getting hit by a car, that's what keeps you awake and basically focused. However, if you let your fears dominate how you behave, then you're not going to do anything. So it's about being more accepting of your fear, but also managing a better response towards that fear that you're feeling, that signal.
So that's really powerful. What as we kind of wrap up here, what would you say is some of the strongest advice that you can give some of our audience when they're thinking about their company culture, or they're thinking about how to really get everyone on the same page in this environment where more people are going hybrid and more people are going to remote work?
Yeah, there are two things. First, you need to trust people more than ever, and you need to assume positive intent. So GitLab, which is a tech company, they have this principle that's called the short toes principle, Basically, they assume that everyone has short toes, so no one ever steps on someone else's toes. So that's a positive kind of intent approach. The second thing is about a company culture is a collective effort. So it's co-created and co-owned by everyone. Of course, leaders have the responsibility for having a good culture, but creating it, it's everyone's effort. It's like the culture of any city. Yeah, the mayor might define certain parameters, might define if this city is a two-way street, what are the speed limits, and so on and so forth. But if people walk, drive a car, which color of the car, which music they hear when they are driving the car, that's on people. So that connection between certain principles and rules that leaders establish and people's own choices and behavior is the result of what culture is all about. So don't own it in the sense that you want to be prescriptive. Invite people to a conversation and co-create it. Of course, you are at the end a owner in terms of making sure the culture is healthy and helps your company move where you want to go.